I summarize, I have understood for me, spirituality, the essence is the willingness to change. Because if you're not willing to change, then all of those ideas of what is spirituality for you, loving, realizing, being in harmony, whatever anybody can say, if you're not ready to change, then it's all just empty words. You're gonna be stuck with what you are. Nothing is gonna make the difference. It's not the clothes which makes a monk, it's not the signs you put on your head, it's not the necklaces you put, like a diamond when you find it in nature. How is it? It's just a piece of carbon. But then in the shop you buy an expensive stone which shines in all lights after it has been purified, after it has been polished. Guruji always says, everybody wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to be polished. It doesn't work.
It makes complete sense to me.
The relationship with the Satguru is not just a teacher. It's something which is a deeper recognition from the soul.
Welcome to the Endless Possibilities Podcast, where the journey of spiritual awakening and energy healing unfolds.
Welcome to the Endless Possibilities Podcast. I almost forgot there. My name is Gareth, and I am your host today for another out of this world interview. I mean, I'm so lucky. I just have the best conversations ever. Today on the show, we have Swami Aniruddha. He has been on a spiritual path for more than 20 years. As a young man, he felt a deep calling within. Like many, he tried to find happiness in external things, but never found satisfaction in them. It wasn't until 2008 when he met his Satguru, Paramahansa Vishwananda, that his spiritual pursuit began to flourish as a result of being with Paramahansa Vishwananda for the last 12 years. Swami Aniruddha has had many intense personal experiences, coupled with an in-depth study of ancient Hindu scriptures, which carry the true secrets of life. He lives daily the same teachings and lessons he shares with spiritual seekers across the world. His mission is to improve the lives of people and help them achieve divine love by sharing the teachings of his Sadguru. Now, Swami Aniruddha, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So I've just, your YouTube, you've got quite a big following. So for my audience who don't know who you are, maybe we can get into a little bit of your history and what got you started on your journey of spirituality and becoming a Swami.
Okay. Well, I think what got me started was just an inner search, an inner longing for, since ever, I guess, like questions were always there since childhood. Who am I? Why am I here? Like elementary school, I remember there was church, which we were asked the priest, why am I? Who am I? And those questions they were just there, and people couldn't really answer them. Seeking for, I guess, fulfillment, which everybody is looking for something, probably not even knowing exactly what I'm looking for. Therefore, also trying many things, because if you don't try, then you never know. And yeah, if the seeking was going on, you meet different people, you meet different teachings, you meet different paths, and like that, it brought me step by step more to the yoga tradition, to yoga philosophy. Traveling to India, reading about saints, life of saints, autobiography of a yogi was for sure from Paramahansa Vishwananda. You're sure familiar with
my
it.
favorite book.
Exactly. So that was for sure important milestone. And all the great saints which I have read, different encounters, and in that, just finding in those teachings of those saints, of the Holy Scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita, I noticed that actually the quest which I am on, the questions I have, they are being addressed and being answered. And so it was like almost, it was like balsam for my soul to find finally that there is something which I can relate to and which speaks about also what I am looking for. Because like I said before, there was very little understanding from the outside world, from my inner world, and also the opposite, like the other way around. And in that moment, when I got in touch with the Indian tradition, with Bhagavad Gita, with yoga, with the teaching of the saints, it started to make sense. And obviously then I pursued it more. I dived deeper. I started to practice all different kinds of yoga, and to discover myself more, discover this mystery more. The clarity became more that also, like in a normal world, you need teachers. So the search for, especially after the autobiography of yoga and the travel through India, the seeking of a Satguru, of the divine teacher, became more strong. But at the same time, there's also was a little bit the fear and the thing of, I'm coming from a Western background.
Surrendering, right?
Western background, guru, cult, and all those fears, which fair enough. And then after a few years, life brought me to my Satguru, and then that was it, basically.
Can I ask a quick question? Was there any suffering? Because an awful lot of people that I interview, there seems to be like a lot of suffering comes up in their early days, and I think what it is for a lot of people, the soul is in dejection. I think that's from the Gita. They talk about the soul being in dejection and crying out. Was there any of that for you?
Yes, for sure. There was suffering, because suffering is I think is a main teacher. Like there's two main teachers. It's grace and suffering, and they go hand in hand. I didn't really have, like, on the outside, if you would look, I had a good life. I never suffered hunger. I never suffered, like, that I didn't have a roof over my head or strong illness. But suffering, as we all know, can be from different kinds. And so this emptiness within, even if you have everything and you feel empty, creates obviously a suffering and an emptiness, which is a suffering. And sure, that was for sure a big propeller for seeking to get out of suffering to some extent, and having the taste, having had moments of grace where there was a higher taste of something, of this love which is within, and knowing there is something, but not really knowing how to get there, not knowing how to grasp it.
Okay, so tell me about that taste. What was that for you? How did that show up? Because I've had that taste as well, right? When you first sit there and you feel that spiritual transmission, it's incredible.
Well, like, how would I say it? I think it was natural in the beginning that there was moments of taste there. I might not even have noticed it so clearly. Then obviously during the quest, through certain substances also, like I said, I wasn't always a monk or like renouncing all those things. On the quest, certain substances for sure opened doors and showed me something which I knew already, and it felt so real. But then even beyond that, it was for sure doing certain practices of yoga where, without external influences of people or substances, it's just from within, this love was there. Like, I remember one particular course we did. It was some sort of yoga course where we did some breath work and going deeper into it. There was a lot of, in that moment where we did this work, I went into a dark place, like really, really dark place. It was like the darkest, and it just kept on going. And at some point it was just imploding, and there was just light and love everywhere. And it was like, wow, this is within, and it's better than any drugs I ever took. It's better than any sex I had. It's better than anything. So obviously I wanted, to have more of that.
Okay, so that took you to India, right? So you got a taste, and then you wanted to find more.
Yeah, for sure. Like, India was, in my first travels, India was on my radar, but there was also a fear of India, because India is for me the cradle of spirituality, the cradle of yoga. And I know about all those gurus and all those teachings. And I was, to some time, myself scared to get lost on the wrong path, to just get caught up by wrong things. And So the first travels was more to the Latin countries for enjoying the world and doing my own things. And then it brought me to India. And yes, India then definitely had a very big impact on my life. And what happened after India, even so more. Because I see the red thread just going through like coincidences, which are never coincidences, that you meet people and it's just the puzzle pieces start to fit together and you cannot not follow it. I at the time I didn't see it, that it was really like fitting so well together. Now I look back and it's just like, wow.
Sure. And I suppose reading autobiography of a yogi, did you have a sort of like, I want to seek out certain beings, right? A lot of them go to see Amma, they get the hug from hugging Amma and different avatars. Did you meet any of these saints?
Yes, I met many of them. I met Amma, I met Ravi Shankar, I met Premananda, I met I when I was in India, I was seeking out them all. I got the darshan.
Hi guys, I hope you are enjoying the interview with Swami Aniruddha. This is just a quick request for those who maybe are new to the show. If you haven't subscribed and you would like to help us out, subscribing is free. You can just do it by clicking a button, and it really helps support the show. It pushes us out to new audiences through the YouTube algorithms, and it helps out our guests. It helps the guest be seen by a wider audience. So if you would like to support us, hit subscribe. It really goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate all of you. And if you would like to give us feedback on how we're doing and if you're enjoying the show, drop us a comment down below. I read them all and I reply to them all. Thank you so much. Now back to the show with Swami Aniruddha.
I was very blessed. I was very grateful for it. They helped me a lot. When I read the autobiography of Yogi at that time, was 2004, on the journey in India. Almost every page, tears were just flowing because I knew there's some truth in it. There's truth what he is speaking about, and there was an inner longing where there was a part of, this is a dream. Like this would be my dream, but at the same time, like this journalist who was traveling with him, meeting all those saints and all those things. At the same time, I told myself, yeah, but not in this lifetime, because I had too many vices. I had too many, my lifestyle just didn't fit this kind of life, what he was describing, which made it even so more wonderful that a few years later, when I met my Satguru Paramahansa Vishwananda, I immediately thought back of that moment and I saw like, wow, now I'm actually living the dream. I'm in the middle of the dream, just miraculous things happening around me, meeting Mahatmas, saints, and wow, just was, just marveling
It sounds
at
like a
life.
blessing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And in terms of awakenings, did the awakenings, the typical awakenings like self-realization, did they start to happen along that journey or did they come later?
I think they are all, you see, self-realization, I think, is a term which I believe there's not one self-realization. There is self-realization of, obviously, of the self, but there's levels to it. I think everybody who is kind of aware that I'm not just this body, but there is more, who has a taste of it, has some sort of self-realization. It's a limited one, and you have to explore it more and more. So I must say now, after 17 years being a monk and living under the guidance of my spiritual teacher and practicing Atma Kriya Yoga, the practices which my guru gives, and being under his wings and his grace, through the practices, I have more and more in these years obviously realized who I am and what the relationship with God is. But at the same time, I have to say, the more I realize who I am, the more I notice that I have no bloody clue who I truly am.
Yeah. That's amazing. So tell me the difference between a guru and a Satguru.
A guru, the word has two syllables. Gur means darkness and ru means light. So a guru is somebody who brings light into darkness, who removes ignorance. And in life we have many gurus, starting, our first guru is our mother, our father, parents, nature, friends, school. life is the greatest guru in essence. So we can have many, many gurus, so-called Shishya gurus or Shiksha gurus. You have infinite of those. A book can be your guru. You are a guru in many moments of your life to somebody because you enlighten them in something, or you bring light into darkness, or remove some ignorance. And as on a physical level, you go through school and you learn different things, different degrees, and you have different teachers for those, because everybody can just teach you what they self have achieved, right? You can't teach what you don't know. The same is on the spiritual level. There is different gurus, and the Satguru, Sat means truth. So the Satguru is a true master, somebody who leads you to the final truth. And Satguru is not a title which somebody has. It is, they are on a certain platform, and everybody has a Satguru. Everybody has many gurus, but everybody has one Satguru. If the Satguru is alive, incarnated, while you are incarnated or not, that's a different question. But obviously, if you meet him, that's the greatest grace. And then it's obviously if you recognize it, and then if you take that opportunity. Because like, if I just take back the example of Yogananda, because you're familiar with it, and maybe some of your listeners are. If you see in his life, he has met many great saints in his life. Yeah, the levitating saint, the one who does bilocations, all great beings who have taught him, who have showered their love on him. None of them was his Satguru. They were all his guru, but they were not his Satguru. And then he walks through the marketplace and he sees that monk there, Sri Yukteswar Giri, and he is, as he is an elevated soul himself, he has this inner recognition that he just cannot not throw himself at his feet, right? So he surrenders to him, and the guru accepts him. But then the mind starts again because he wants just to do meditation and realize. But the guru has a different way of working, so he makes him clean rooms and all of those things.
Yeah.
So he thinks, oh no, I have to go to the Himalaya, find my guru. But in the end, the point is, he has a Satguru who gives him everything, and it's not something you choose. It is, you belong to him, he belongs to you. It's a settled thing since ages. And yeah, that is
Beautiful.
the Satguru. The Satguru does not, the beautiful thing of the Satguru is he cannot just give you knowledge, but he can awaken or give you direct experience of this theory, of this knowledge. And that's the beauty of the Satguru. And the difficulty at the same time is, he will not tell you what you want to hear, but he will tell you what you need to hear. And the more there is a discrepancy between those two, the more you're going to have difficulty.
Okay, we'll get back to that because I find that very interesting. But let me ask you how you came to know your Satguru.
Like I said, when I was in India, in the end of the trip, like meeting all those saints, I wanted to actually, after reading the autobiography, I wanted to go to the Himalayas and obviously find Babaji. But I fell sick. I was 1 month ill by 45 degrees Celsius in Varanasi, just at some people's home, and probably Shiva's purification. And then I went to Rishikesh, and they're living in an ashram for the last 2 months almost. And there came a healer lady from France, and she had lingam, which is like egg-shaped stone representing Shiva, but it was a manifested lingam from her guru, Swami Premananda from South India. And it was the first time, like she normally I don't feel things in that sense, but when we did the rituals there and when she gave blessings with that, there was just something opening up. I couldn't deny it. And it was like, before I read a book, and now suddenly I have like experience of something, and the lady who seems genuine and who has manifested lingam, like these things were like, just wow, these things exist. And so after getting those blessings and having this inner awakenings with just the blessings of the lingam, when I came back to my home in Italy, I told a friend of it, and she said, "Oh, really? You got the blessings from that guru's lingam?" I have a friend, she lived 12 years with that guru, and she just came back last week, and she lives in the town next to ours. You want to meet her? And I was like, how? Obviously, I want to meet her. So we went to meet her. She had the personal lingam of her guru, and we did the rituals, the singing. She told me her stories, which was like a living autobiography of a yogi. And then she showed me some pictures of the ashram, and in those pictures there was a picture of Paramahansa Vishwananda when in 2005, I think, he visited her ashram, or the ashram of that master, and helped the people there. And she was showing him around. He was dressed normal in t-shirt and jeans, really unnormal for Indian swamis, no? But she told me her experiences and the love he has for Christ, for Mother Mary, for Krishna, for Fing, the disciple of Babaji, and how he manifested things for the people to give them protection, healing, and all those things. And I was just like, wow, I want to meet him. And so I started to investigate. And then 4 years after, he came to Italy, where I then finally met him in Assisi. And yeah, this was the beginning, basically, of then. Once I met him, something happened inside, in that meeting, which brought me here today. So this is a short form. I don't know how much you want to dig. I don't want to,
Sure.
because
Yeah, I mean, I think the listeners really appreciate this. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm going, I'm so enjoying this conversation. This is like
okay.
right up my alley. And I know my audience. I know a lot of the people personally who watch the show. They love all this. They're all big fans of autobiography of a yogi and all the saints. So what happened? What changed in you when you met?
Well, when I met him, it wasn't clear for me in the beginning, because by now I have met many gurus. There was a lot of doubts again, because many of them said they are my guru, but now I had the concept of the Satguru, and I was confused again. So because the Satguru is one, but I met all of them. I love them all. They have given me all so much. So kind of confused. And I met Paramahansa Vishwananda, and there was, before the blessing what he gives the darshan the day before, there was a discourse he made, a satsang. And after the satsang, he said, when anybody wants to talk to me, stay. And obviously I stayed. And when it was my turn to talk to him, it was interesting, because I had this idea of what a guru is and how he has to be and how he has to behave. But I was 26, he was 30 years old. So it's kind of, we're almost same
You're
age.
quite young. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm like I have so many questions. And he's like very chill, like, okay, then ask, basically chill. Like, it was very
And he's not
normal.
Indian, right? He's from Mauritius.
He's from Mauritius. He has ancestors are from Indian, but he's originally from Mauritius, like you say, in the Indian Ocean. And so I sat down and I asked my first question. And when I made my first question, he just looked deeply in my eyes and said, listen to your heart. And I looked at him and I was like, I tell you from all sincerity, I was like, what should I do with that? Like, I have heard that so many times. I'm a rational person. I'm like, give me a formula. I have to understand things. 1 + 1 is 2. I can reproduce it. Listen to your heart, like whatever. Yeah. And then he gave me an answer, a more clear one, or more scientific one, if you want, which I didn't understand everything. He finished the answer. He looked deep in my eyes and said, and listen to your heart. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. But now my mind started to get very active. So I started the next question. And again, he answered, listen to your heart, gave an answer and ended, and listen to your heart. The more he answered, the more I had questions. Every question he answered with, listen to your heart, answered and ended, and listen to your heart. And now looking back, in reality, I noticed that I didn't have really questions. I wanted confirmation for my ideas. So I don't know if you know what I mean, but I
know
had
exactly what you mean, and maybe it's almost like you're asking the questions to get confirmation, so you can maybe rate him in some way.
exactly.
He
So
can
I
fit
can make
your idea.
exactly. I can make sense of things because till then I just figured out things by myself. I puzzled the things together. I made sense of life, of what the purpose is, what is it all about, and it started to make sense everything. So I create a kind of security where I can hold on, because otherwise I'm just lost in this world. Yeah. And so it was comforting, but there was always the slight doubt. Maybe I'm just fooling myself on something. So if he would confirm me, then I would feel better. But he didn't really confirm. He didn't speak against either. But the not confirmation was enough to bring the doubt more to the surface. That's why more and more questions were brought to him, because I tried like really to hold on to that. And in the end, I think, I don't know how long that interview lasted, and it was a constant listen to your heart, listen to your heart, listen to your heart. I think steam came out of my ears. I don't know. I just walked out of that room. I was like very dramatically destroyed, saying that more than, I would say at the time, more than fear of death, I had fear of life. Like, where do I go? Where do I belong? Or what's the point? Like, I don't want to serve the wrong master, in the sense of not necessarily even a spiritual master, but I don't want to waste my life. I just get into a job and wake one day up, or have a family, or whatever it be. I don't want to wake up one day and just think I wasted another lifetime for things which are futile, which I was not meant to. Yeah. So there was this construct that I had about my life kind of fell apart like a house of cards. And with that, there was obviously, again, this worry and fear was very strongly present, which I kind of probably my whole life tried to sort. I don't know where that came from. I don't know, but it was there always. So next day I lived with that thought, and in the evening there was the darshan, the blessing, and I made myself a promise. My promise was, I will never ever speak with this man again, because he gave me so much time. I didn't understand most of it, and on top of it, I feel so bad after having talked with him, so I might as well never talk to him again.
Well, you got darshan.
I got darshan, and after I got the darshan, after I got the blessing, from here, from the heart, there was a question rising out, and as much as I wanted to resist, I could not resist it. It just came out of my mouth, and the question I asked in that moment was, "Can you help me to follow my path?" Because, like I said, I had this fear of serving the wrong master. Like, where do I belong? And therefore, the thought: should I walk this path, that path? Should I do this? Should I do that? But in the end of the day, any of those paths could be the wrong paths. I could even ask him, "Are you my guru?" But I didn't ask him, because the first time I will doubt him, I will doubt what he said. So the only one which I can be sure is not wrong is my path, because I have my path, you have your path, and everybody who listens to this has their individual path. Everybody has their individual love relationship with God. And therefore, I don't know. In that moment, I was like, I don't know who you are. Paramahansa Vishwananda, in that moment, I don't know who you are to me. I don't know, are you a saint? Are you a guru? Are you a Satguru? Are you my Satguru? Are you God incarnated on earth? I do not know, and I do honestly not care, because there's one fact, and the fact is, life has brought me at this place in this moment, and that's no coincidence. And all great souls, they are in this world to help us to grow. So I don't know who you are to me, but it doesn't harm to ask you this question. If you're going to help me, yes, then great. If not, I haven't lost anything. So I asked this question, and after I've asked it, he looked at me with so much love and compassion, and he said, obviously I will help you. And in the next instance, he changed and he became more serious, looked deep in my eyes and said, but listen to your heart. You got it finally. And in that moment, it was just, I broke out of a laughter, because it was the emptiness of my life, knowing I didn't still know anything, where I'm going to go, what is going to happen. But that empty space in front of me was not anymore troubling me and making me afraid and having all those worries. Suddenly there was, instead of worries and fear, there was trust and love. I am guided. I am, there is love. God exists. He is, like, I'm just held. And it was not a mental concept. It was an inner feeling of security, of an anchor, that everything is fine, just trust. And that feeling since then never left me. And that was just something which, that love increases, and it's just, well, what should I say? It's the greatest thing at that moment, which I then obviously went to investigate further. And then I went to the ashram, which was just new, an old center. They announced it there that they are having an old unit center of the
This is in
working
Germany?
units in Germany.
In Germany. So you went, and you
I
lived
went
there?
Yeah, the last 17 years I lived there, but at that time I just went for the first time just because I wanted to give something back. I knew they needed hands to help, so I just went there to help.
Like a volunteer.
A volunteer, and then I learned the meditation practice, the Kriya Yogas, at my Kriya Yoga, which he got from Babaji to teach. So to just, because that there's no commitment yet to guru or anything. It's just a solid practice with the grace of the masters for you to grow into that realization of who you are and what your relationship with God is. So I just took that in the first place so that I can go deeper, and let's see where it brings me from there. And from there, obviously, then it brought me to the realization that my path is the path with him, and the path of love and devotion, which Bhakti Marga means. Bhakti means love and devotion, and Marga means the path. So,
okay, wonderful. Because I don't get a lot of people talking about that side, the Bhakti side on the show. You know, a lot of people, it's awakening and Kundalini, but the devotion, the love, it's like a real nectar, right? It's like gasoline for awakening. And I know from looking into his practice, right? It's a lot of chanting. He has the kirtans. The Vitala is something that's chanted quite a lot. Yeah, I've watched the music that they have around. It's incredible. So you got engaged with all that. You got involved.
Yeah, I got involved with, like, I had obviously lots of resistance because, to be frank, the world around me didn't support it at all. Like, friends, family, and so on was like completely against everything. So that was a challenge, I would say. And the inner fears of still, like, there were still some things there. But then I met him, and step by step, I had the chance to just, confront myself also with him. And he just removed doubt by doubt, step by step. And then once I realized that he is the one, and he accepted me, then there was an important moment, because after that first encounter, everything went very quick. Like, I went there, I did my service, he wasn't there. It was almost planned that I left before he came, because it's also intense to be in the presence of the living master, because it's like a fire. It's like a fire.
I was listening to one of your videos where you were talking about it's almost like he's not that nodding head guru. There's a fire, and he burns something up in people as well,
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. The guru is here to uplift you to the highest, and obviously for that, purification is also needed. And like I said before, the Satguru will not tell you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And the more there's a discrepancy between the one and the other, the more you're going to have issues of following it.
So let's talk a little bit about that. I think that's really important, right? What happens in someone's system when you come into contact with a Satguru, and that truth starts to burn, right? It starts to bring up your stuff. And I guess a lot of people would probably project it onto him, right? Instead of looking inwards and seeing what's coming up.
But I think that's a human part. We don't like to take responsibility. We like to play the victim role. But
Yeah.
that's once you understood that you have a responsibility, an ability to respond to life and to things, that he brings just things out of you. The guru, the outside guru, awakens the inner guru. Yeah, he's there to really bring something out, which, because we underestimate ourselves also. Like, some, obviously there's arrogant people and narcissistic people who also overestimate themselves in a wrong way, but generally there's so much potential inside of us and we underestimate ourselves. But the guru, he knows the potential and he wants to bring it to the surface. He wants us to get us there. He's not interested in our ego, in our petty small things, and he will play with them. He in a very interesting way, because it's not like just the frontal thing. He, through life, he puts you in the spot, like life in general does. But it seems to me, in the presence of the Satguru, in his field in general, it doesn't have to be just in his physical presence, but I think even so more in the physical presence, that becomes even more like straightforward, that the things just get triggered through him or through the people around you, through situations around you, and he will tend to, if there's a fire, he will put some oil in it. He will not put it down. Like he will so, because only then you will truly learn at some point, because the theory, we got it all, the theory.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. A lot of people don't want that, right? They want the sparkly version of spirituality where everything is, nice and namaste, and they don't want to look at their stuff, and and they run away when it comes up.
But you see, that's I think the essence of spirituality. Like, I must say, the quest has finished once I met my Satguru. Then the true journey has truly started. As much as I thought I was on a journey before, and more I see, if, like he always says, if you want to change, if you really want to change, there's no way you're not going to change. If you don't want to change, there's no way you're going to change. Not even God and the Guru is going to change you, because you have that amount of conditioned free will that you can choose. If you want to stay in your small, then you will learn through another way. It's just a matter of time, because the beauty of it is, in the end, we will all get where we need to get. If it's not in this lifetime, maybe in the next, and maybe in infinite lifetimes. But there's no way we cannot get there. That's the good news. But still, when I ask people normally what for them spirituality is, many say those things. Like, I'm right now in the United States doing a tour, and we're now in Miami, and I encounter so many people, and they're speaking about medicines and different like drugs or ayahuasca and this and that, and or Kundalini yoga, like you say, that where you, all kind of things where you, it's kind of, I want to hype, I want to experience, but I don't want to do the work. I'm not, like, I generalize, I'm not putting them all in one pot, but I think you get what I mean. I summarize, I have understood, for me, spirituality, the essence is the willingness to change. Because if you're not willing to change, then all of those ideas of what is spirituality for you, loving, realizing, being in harmony, whatever anybody can say, if you're not ready to change, then it's all just empty words. And we have to do our part. If we are not willing to change, then you're going to be stuck with what you are. And spirituality is work, is discipline. Guruji says it very much. Even Bhakti seems, just sweet and whatever, which it is. It is definitely, even in the scriptures say it is the most secure, the most pleasurable, the easiest, the best path. It is the best path because love is something intrinsic, which we all strive for, which we all have. But love, real love, is only for brave people, because love is consuming. Love takes everything. Like love, like pure love is just, it is. And if you're attached, then that's a scary thing, because attachment and fear, they go hand in hand. If people don't want to change, then it's just a label. There's no initiation. Nothing is going to make the difference. It's not the clothes which makes a monk. It's not the signs you put on your head. It's not the necklaces you put. Like Gurudev Paramahansa Vishwananda, he's even on his own devotees, he is going hard on them over and over again, because he's like, whom you're trying to fool? Like, you're fooling maybe other people. You might even fool yourself, but you're definitely not fooling me, and you're definitely not fooling God. You come to the ashram and you put yourself like, oh, big holy people, and then you behave like the worst of the worst. Like, what is this?
Yeah, spirituality has its fair share of these.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He always says, I've seen the most beautiful people in the spiritual path, and I have seen the worst people on the spiritual path. Because pride is one of the greatest obstacles on the path, and the spiritual pride is even a bigger obstacle.
I totally agree. I totally agree. So my background, I came kind of from a Shakti background, right? And it was always love, devotion, and surrender, right? And I mean, I'd been saying that for years. And it was only recently that I really got that surrender part, right? That it's like getting rid of all of your pride. And we can always surrender to God, right? But can we surrender to another human being? That's where I really see that it's difficult. So I'm sure you, having the experience of having Vishwananda in form, you had to go through that, right?
Sure. And that's the beauty of the living master, because for myself, I can say 100%, I wouldn't, like, all the miracles I have experienced, and they just become on a daily basis. But on all the manifestations and healings and whatever I've seen, the greatest miracle still stays my inner transformation in his presence. And it's so subtle. And I have only gone through certain inner battles, the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, because of him, because he was there, and because he held my hand, and because he guided me, or gave me a kick in my butt, or whatever needed. Without him, I would have never gone that far. Even when he was the one who was maybe the aggressor, in a sense, projecting, you said before, there's always this, I know that he means well. I know that he has a higher vision, and he means as much as I want to get to that place, as much as I want to realize that pure love, and realize myself and my connection with everything, he wants it 1,000 times more, and he has proven it over and over again. So holding on to that is obviously something which gave me the strength also to go through certain things, and surrender to certain things which I wouldn't do with a normal human being, where I know they have their own agenda, they have their own ego, they have their own things, because I wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
So makes sense.
I totally agree. It's almost like, you have to find someone who you would actually be able to go, okay, I give you my life. I trust you with my life.
Exactly.
And that's the only way you could surrender.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really
and
beautiful.
it's a constant practice, because the ego is always wanting its share. The ego is very subtle, and yes, I am in a path of devotion and surrender. But like I said before, the more I realize who I am, the more I realize how little I know who I truly am. The more I surrender, the more I realize how egocentric I am, the more I get purified, the more I notice how dirty I am, the more I grow, the more I know, the more I realize how little I know. And but it's in a beautiful sense, not in a bad sense, but in a very, like, it's just the mystery of life, of God, of love is just opening up and unfolding, and it's
it's like you say, this spiritual pride seems to be like the last thing that you can really like. I mean, we can drop the fear, the hate, we can have love, but there's spiritual pride. Yeah,
spiritual pride is very big, and that's why as that's why I believe that's one reason why without a Satguru you can't really get all the way. Like, you can get very far. It's said that you can go very far, you can get to a very high place, you can even realize yourself, but the ultimate realization is only through grace of the true master. And spiritual pride, the spiritual master will always point it out. Like, he cuts it off. Like, it's painful, it's really painful, because the ego doesn't want that. But it's once you see that he's actually just showering his mercy on you, his grace, and he's doing you a favor, then you can start to say thank you and embrace it. But in the beginning, till you get that, it's just painful.
And he's not attacking you, and it's not a nastiness like other like, because a lot of the times if we do this with a regular human, right, they want something in return, or they're going to run off with your money or something like that. So it's like, it's the perfect being to hold up a mirror to reflect what's unresolved, what you can't see yourself.
A blind person cannot lead a blind person. How can, sure, life will send me people who challenge my ego, but in the end it's through them, but it's not those people. They are bound by their own ego themselves. So it's like, sure, everybody, you will learn everywhere, but the Sadguru, he, like I said, he knows where to hit, he knows exactly. And he told me various times when I was offended, he said, when you're offended, who is offended? Who is offended? And I came to the realization, it is my ego. It's always my ego. When you're offended, it's always your ego. And then there's moments where you get the play, and then there's moments where you don't get it. But it's beautiful to see it when he reveals the game, because sometimes there's just so comical instances where he hits the ego and he offends, and then in the end he reveals that it was all done. Like, once I picked him up from the airport, just a small anecdote where, and a long time I didn't see him, and so I was like very excited that we're going to spend 1 hour in the car, like, beautiful, I meet my beloved again. And there was the loving encounter in the airport, but the moment I got in the car, he started already to, like, driving in a car is something where I think you burn the most karma with the Sadguru, because he's just complaining about everything all the time. Why is so much left? Why is so much right? Why is so quick? Why is so and I felt like he's triggering something all the time. So I had in the past much more the tendency to be, how you call it, when you are not just forgetting if somebody hits you, when you are keeping the grudges. So I don't know if there's a certain word in English, like when you're not just, it's done, it's past, but you keep the grudges. I was very much like in that state in the past. And I've noticed with him that that's not good, because he hits, and then at the same moment he's sweet again. But if I'm still in my hurt feelings, I can't get the sweetness. I can't receive the sweetness, because I'm just closing up. So having seen that from, I don't know, you can follow my.
I follow it, because I think what you're saying is, like, when the criticism comes, there's a cortisol release, right? And it's a shutting down. And then when the compliments come, it's like a sweetness. It's like an endorphin starts to open you up, and the sweetness comes in. And I think it's even it's like a training of the brain, right? A reward, it's like,
Somehow, yeah. And
yeah,
in that moment, as I had many rights already, I was like kind of thinking, I learned, because you learn also by observing how he behaves with other people. If you are not in the game, then it's easier to see the game. If you're in the game, it's more difficult. And by seeing the games with others, I realized I appreciated very much people who just always jumped out of the game easily, where like, just if he's in the mood of being sweet, be open to receive the sweetness. If he's hitting something, be ready to receive that. So like, just go like flexible, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
it's a blessing as well, though, right?
Oh yes, oh yes, it's very great. And in that trip, like, just to conclude that journey, he was going on from Frankfurt Airport till the ashram, which is a 1 hour drive. He was like going on, and every time he hit, so to say, like as a matter of speech, I closed up, and then he was sweet again. And I was like, no, I'm going to show him I changed, and I'm going to like receive the sweetness. Once it's like almost you put down your guard, and again, he's like 1, 2. He's like giving you a little jab here and there. And again, I put my things up. And like that, the whole journey went like this. We reached to the ashram. I drove to his entrance, and the last jab was like, why you're driving there in a little bit a loud voice and not put it in the garage. And I pressed the brake, and I'm like, no, it got me. He got me. Yeah. And I was like, because I just thought you're more comfortable here, but I can put it also in the garage. It's okay. He's like, and again, sweet. No, it's okay. So he went out of the car. He looks back and he says, thank you for picking me up, very sweetly. And I'm like, you're welcome. And then he says, did I offend you? And I say, does it matter? And he smiles from here to here and says, not really. And in that moment, I realized this was all just for my training, so that I can, it's a purpose. It's purposely, I'm nagging you so that you can practice your resistance, that you can practice your flexibility of being, because I see life is like that. Like, spirituality is not just flowers and roses. Like, you still have to live a normal life, and you have to be grounded, you have to be strong, you have to be, yeah, you have to be functional. Spirituality is not flying. Like, that is absolutely something.
Yeah.
Spirituality must be grounded. You must be able to handle this reality. If you're not able to handle this reality in all its facets, then what do you think how you can handle higher realities, right? And so he has many ways of teaching, of getting you there. But that's the beauty. He means well, and he has that as a
I was listening to one of your videos on your YouTube channel, and you were saying that, like, sometimes, everybody would be like, oh, to see him, and he would just ignore them and walk away. And yeah.
He's great in that. He's
triggering
great.
something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then, on the other hand, in private, he will say sweet things about them. Like, he might, to the person, he might say something like to teach something, and then in private he will point out the good sides and how he sees the dedication and how much. But he might also give it to the person, but like, I'm somebody, you give me a little finger, I'm about to take the whole hand. Yeah. So it's like, it's dangerous. Like, you have to know the thing.
So how many people take it as an insult and leave? Like, does that happen? I guess it does, right?
Absolutely. Like, I have seen in my last 17 years so many people come and so many people go. And that's why I have just concluded that time is the greatest judge. And I have also concluded that if you hold on to the truth which has first and foremost brought you on the path, and who has made you commit, because the relationship with a Satguru is not just a teacher. It's something which is a deeper recognition from the soul. And it, like I said, my quest has the longing, or the search was finished once I met him, and once I got it, then the journey really started. if you come always back to that place, where did it even start? Why am I even here? And so on. And you hold on, then I see people, they have just transformed so tremendously. If you let the ego take over, it's like when you're in an operation room. If somebody opens your stomach, right, and does something inside of you, it's obviously painful, but just resist, just stay till the cancer was removed and you are put together again. Because otherwise, it's obviously very, if you stand up in the middle of the operation and then maybe even leave the hospital with an open stomach, that's even more unpleasant. And then you probably even look back and blame the bad doctor, but you have run away in the middle of the operation.
Yeah.
The thing is, a spiritual path is always connected with purification and transformation, which means change. And like gold, you find gold in nature. How is it? You have
It's
to.
rough, right?
It's rough.
Yeah.
You have to put it in fire, and in fire, the impurities are being dissolved and come out, and then on the other side comes the gold, and then the goldsmith takes it, and then he has to hit it and to bend it and to heat it up again to make this beautiful jewel. It's not just without anything. A diamond, when you find it in nature, how is it? It's just a piece of carbon, yeah? But then in the shop you buy an expensive stone which shines in all lights after it has been purified, after it has been polished and filed and all those things. And Guruji always says, everybody wants to be a diamond, but nobody wants to be polished. It doesn't work.
Yeah. It makes complete sense to me.
there's no sure, bhakti, the love and devotion and grace is something which gives you something which is undeserved. It is just what you receive is infinite times more than what you have invested. But still you have to invest something. Even if it's just your good intentions, your willingness, your availability, whatever it be. But you have to, like, because that's he always says, God and Guru can do anything, but they can't force you to love him, because that's the whole nature of love, is it must be a choice. Otherwise love is not real. Right? Love is only if you choose. Imposed
We
love
have free
is no
will,
love.
right? We can move towards or we can move away.
You have a conditioned will. Yeah, you have the choice of that.
Yeah.
Eventually everybody will come back to where they belong. That's where he says, like, the Guru has plan A. The Satguru knows plan A, and he will try to apply plan A for you, because that's the most direct, the most pleasant, the best way for you. And then also because we all assets, if you want to bring this love also to this world. It's not for us only. It's like to share it, like you do with your channel. Like many people, like I think many spiritual seekers, if you ask them, they want to realize themselves, yes, they want to grow, but they also want to help other people. They also want to share this love. It's an intrinsic nature that love is just multiplying when you share it, and when you're in a good space, you want
It
other
feels
people
better,
also
right?
to be in a good space. It's just natural, because we are all connected. It's one big organism, yeah. So it's, if plan A doesn't work, which he applies to you, then he will use plan B. And if plan B doesn't work, then plan C, and then plan D, and so on. In the end, God will always win, because you cannot not come back to him, because you're part of him. So in that sense, don't worry about it. But obviously, if you have the knowledge that that is the ultimate purpose, and that life has been given to you so that you can get closer to yourself and to the absolute, to God, however you want to call it. I know God is an abstract word, but I think we understood each other. If you know that already, then why waiting? then why waste your time? Especially, so you have a human incarnation, which is said is one of the greatest graces, because human species has a spiritual potential to realize this compared to the other animals, which have a limited intelligence, right? So otherwise, humans are nothing special. Like humans on a material level are nothing special. They're probably destroying the most, and just yeah, like there's not, it's not so wrong to say they're almost like a virus. Like we just procreate and destroy on them if we are just material beings. It is said if you remove all the worms or all the insects of this world in about 24 to 36 months, all existence in this world will cease to be, because they're so necessary for the whole organism. On the other hand, if you remove all human beings of this world, the nature will thrive like never before.
That's
So,
very true.
so materially, we are not really important. But on the other side, the scriptures say human incarnation is the highest incarnation, because it has this huge potential to actually realize your spiritual essence and your relationship with the whole. So one grace is there. The first factor is there. If you know that, you could wake up every morning and say, thank you for just being alive. Secondly, if this longing has awoke in yourself, like this quest is there, it is said that you go through many, many lifetimes as a human being till this is even perceivable to you, because it's like so covered by so many layers till you have removed that it's always there. You are who you are. That never changed. Yeah, it's always the truth was, is, and will always be. But till you in this limited consciousness perceive that longing, once you perceive that, that's a grace. You have worked for that for so many lifetimes. Again, if you have a small, fresh, beautiful plant which has just germinated, and it's so precious, what you do with it? You have to nourish it, no? You put a fence around it so that the beasts don't trample over it. Like, take care of it. Take care of this space. Don't take it for granted. And then it said, once you meet your Satguru, that's the third grace, because he will then deliver you to the final goal. But if you are in any of those stages, if you have those things, then why waiting? Why would you wait? Like, just take it on step by step, because anyway, you can't, like, you have to go through it sooner or later. Like, we all know experiences we have to go through. You go from one relationship to another relationship, from one problem to the other, and either you work it out or it will come back to you. It's like that, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, we have this life now. Why not wait for another lifetime to do it?
Why not wait, or why wait?
Why wait?
Why wait?
One.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
So
Sure.
you've spent 17 years training as a Swami, and tell me, you're a teacher now yourself, right?
Well, I'm a Swami. Yes, I'm a teacher. I'm teaching the teachings of my guru. I'm sharing the wisdom he imparted onto me, and trying to be at service as much as possible as I can, trying to be as empty as possible so that he can use this instrument as good as possible. That's what I'm doing on my daily basis, and very grateful that I can be at service, because service is it's an expression of love. And
I have to say that anyone who, and this is just my sense, just from sitting here having a conversation with you, I think anybody who comes in contact with you, it will be the better for it. You just have a lovely way about you, and a lovely way of delivering truth.
thank you.
No
Thank you very
problem. No
much.
problem. I really appreciate. I've really enjoyed the conversation. I mean, thoroughly enjoyed it. If people want to connect with you, I'm going to put all your links down below.
Mhm.
Do you want to just maybe your website, your YouTube? I know you
Yes,
have an Instagram.
I have an Instagram. I have a YouTube. You will put the links in the
Yeah.
thing. It's Swami Aniruddha or SV Aniruddha. If you want to connect with this path I'm following, it's on in Europe on bhaktimarga.org. If you want, you can also put those links.
Sure.
Paramahansa Vishwananda, there's a YouTube channel and Instagram, his teachings where that's the beauty of this path. There is the living master is still here. So I'm just a mouthpiece. I'm just here to spread what I got. Like it's not mine. He is still here, and obviously my wish is my duty is to spread what I received, because for me it was life-changing. It is life-changing, and he's the source of that. So obviously I invite everybody, meet him, get in touch with him, get his blessings, can be online, can be in physical form, get in touch with his teachings, with his practices. There's Atma Kriya Yoga, which is a meditation technique, or if you're interested in something more instant, the chanting of mantras. So he has given
their music
the mantra,
is amazing.
The music is amazing, and he has received just a few years back during the COVID, he has received from Krishna the mantra Shri Vittala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha. So if you want, there is how it is chanted, the meaning of it. Feel free to use it, because he really got this mantra. In essence, it means my reference to that Supreme Lord who is the protector and the servant, the loving servant of everybody and everything, and awakens that. So it's just a paraphrasing, but mantras contain everything. So just by chanting the mantra Shivittala Giridhari Parabrahmane Namaha, you can have everything, and it's for free. It's just, you can apply it anywhere at any time. And so I invite you, connect with me, with Bhakti Marga. If you feel like I'm doing a pilgrimage also sometimes in India, next year in April, for example, I go to India. If anybody wants, feel free to connect to the source of the Ganges, doing some super nice. It's going to be nice. But the doors is open. The family, there's a spiritual family. There's our spiritual master. There is beautiful environment. There's many centers all over, also in the UK, all over Europe, India, Africa, America. And it's, the doors are open. Everybody's most welcome. And we are here to serve, to give whatever we can. If we can support anybody on their journey, with absolute pleasure.
Amazing. You've been an incredible guest. Thank you so much, Swami Aniruddha.
Thank you very much, Gareth.
Thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure also to meet you, and I pray I hope that we meet sometime, maybe in person. Like, you live where?
Yes, I'm in Ireland.
Ireland. Okay, so maybe one day.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the viewers and listeners. Take care, guys. Bye.
This has been the Endless Possibilities Podcast, where the journey of spiritual awakening and energy healing unfolds. Gareth is a lifelong seeker of truth, a spiritual teacher and author, and it's his passion to delve into the profound world of consciousness. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope you've gotten something from it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, the podcast is available on YouTube and all the major podcasting platforms. Find us on Instagram at @the_mother_force. Take care, and we'll see you soon on the Endless Possibilities Podcast.